Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round number 11 of the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series presented by EcenC.com. We are here today at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad. Joined alongside me is Rick Ravon. Rick, it is going to be some phenomenal racing that we have here today for the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series. Now, I remember our conversation that we had briefly kind of towards the end of our broadcast last week, saying that this is obviously a paperclip kind of track here. Now, Rick, what are you expecting from the drivers, and what do you think is going to be a problem point, or problem points, rather, aside from the ones that we have already noted, or, well, not yet on broadcast, but in our notes that we have available to us here in the broadcast?
Well, actually, there's a couple of problem spots here. Number one, you're going to want to make your moves on, fresh tires, because that's when the best time is going to be to do it. And also, coming out of the pits, going into the pits is going to be tricky here. If you're doing it under green flag, especially, obviously under yellow, you have a little more time to kind of take your time. But coming out of the pits is really super treacherous. So I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a handful of guys struggle getting out of the pits. But this is actually going to be a pretty good race. I'll tell you something. You said it was a paperclip track. It is like that. These two corners, circumference-wise, turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you would think they're identical if you looked at them, but they really have different feel to it. So these guys are going to be really working hard on those bars and weight jackers to get things right here tonight.
Yeah, Rick, and you kind of mentioned that to me a little bit before we went live here, is that drivers really going to have to be kind of toying with their vehicles here tonight to get the speed, the pace that they are looking for out of this track. And now, I mentioned that this is going to be a little bit faster myself, that I personally believe, but you mentioned that it's not quite going to be exactly what I expect. But I hope that I'm proven wrong here, and that we see some phenomenal racing out of all of our drivers here today, as right now we're currently looking at Timmy Bates make his way around the track here in the 21 machine. We currently have 12 drivers already putting their times up on the timing tower. You can see on the left-hand side of your screens.
Look at that guy. Look at him. Look at him with the cigar. Just Mr. Cool, isn't he?
Just a silly guy.
He's a great guy. I can't wait to interview him.
Yeah.
If he finishes outside of the top three, I almost hope that he wrecks so we could get to talk to this guy, because he is just a ball. He really is.
Well, I wouldn't exactly put that curse on a Mr. Timmy Bates here in the 21 machine. But
of course, now that I said that, he'll probably win the race.
You know what? And it would be pretty awesome to see. Look at that, up into 8th place here as he crosses the line. So Bates off to a good start here in his qualifying run here.
Oh,
he goes, spins away.
Head on into the wall.
As I was
head on into the wall.
Tuning into another driver here, yeah, Timmy Bates gets a little bit loose coming out of turn 2, dips it down into the bottom wall here, but we're looking now with Jose Phillips in the 48 machine making his way now out of turn 2, the same spot that we saw Timmy Bates just absolutely eat the bottom wall here.
He
but
did. Meanwhile, Nate Siefker's on the top of the chart. Remember last week he was going for 5 wins in a row and he didn't quite get there? Well, right now he's got that car number 2 on the pole as we look at Chad Simpson making his way down the backstretch. Chad Simpson was only 3rd quickest in practice. You say only, but, he's doing a great job. And Chad Simpson could be the guy. Team FBR, of course, FBR Motorsports. They always seem to have something up their sleeves, and they're extremely fast. There goes Chad right up to P4 on the chart. And was that his final lap? Yes, it was. Now he's on his cool-down lap. The guy we have to watch out for, the star qualifier, is Butch Davis. And there he is.
Yeah, and if you can look, if you're looking on your screens right now, you can see the results from last week's race at Homestead, Miami. And yeah, that is going to be the end of Butch Davis's run there, and it looks like he's going to put himself in 5th place on that run there. Jeffrey Rowlett now in the 66 machine, going to be making his way around for his final qualifying lap. He's currently sitting in 13th. Let's see where he sits now as he crosses the line. That's going to put him down into 14th as Yari Brupatcher makes his way into 11th place in the 89 machine. But Rick here, take a look at this here at our last race results. Butch Davis out in first place, Chad Simpson in second, Yari Brupatcher up here in 3rd place. And what I'm seeing right now, we have Nate Siefker up there in 1st. Now, we know that Nate had a little bit of a pitfall in last week's race. So
he sure did.
He's going to be up here starting 1st in this race. Let's see if he's going to see any of the
Who's
same.
that blinking out?
Oh, that's actually not us blinking out here, Rick. That's actually the session ending for our qualifying.
Okay. Yeah, Nate Siefker, to get back to what you were saying, he had an absolutely terrible week last week. He was going for the 5 in a row, but didn't get there. Had just the worst luck. I mean, driving up out of turn 4 at Homestead, he collected another car, and he was just damaged beyond, almost beyond repair. He tried to get back out there. The worst thing that happened to him, Butch Davis ended up winning the race, and he is the guy who has been chasing him for the last several races for the championship. So Butch Davis had exactly what he needed to have happen last week, and this week we'll see what happens. I'm really excited to find out and see this race unfold.
Yeah, and with how much room that we have here at New Hampshire, I almost feel that we're going to see some pretty exciting side-by-side battles happening here if drivers can get the pace going that they need at the start of this race here. Now, Rick, you feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, but, I feel this race, we're looking, I have to check back with my notes here, we're looking at about 38 to 42 laps between fuel stints. So, and from what I understand is that tires might be a problem before fuel is. So, really what I'm expecting to see here is drivers really just taking the wheels off these things here as they make their way around New Hampshire. Now, what I'm wondering is how soon are we going to see these drivers start to separate, to kind of split amongst each other and start to find their own really kind of line and space on the track here.
Well, I ran quite a few practice laps around here with the AI, and look, somebody went around. Is that
Simard?
Is that Chris Simard?
Indeed.
That's Chris Simard. Chris Simard had been struggling. I don't think. See, now now we're looking at this blue and black car, and that's who is that? I have to get used to these. That's Swearingen, the winner at Iowa. He's running. Look at him running the top, the extreme top. That might actually be the way to go here, believe it or not, because you're obviously conserving tires when you do that. You're not running as tight a line around here. I think that the smart money is on the guy who's going to actually run that top side for most of the race. It's something where you would say, well, it's a secret. Don't let anybody know that you're going to do that. But it looks like Lyle Swearingen is doing it right now. But the tires are definitely going to be a factor. Like I said, you're going to want to make those passes early, as soon as you can. After coming out of the pits on fresh tires, maybe yellow comes out, green comes out again, and then you're going to try to make those moves and pick up positions, because after about, let's say about 15 laps, those tires start to go. And if you have a car who's running directly in front of you, it's going to be almost impossible to, you're going to be fading back in the corners. So, but I don't think that it's going to be that much of a factor as far as wanting to pit for tires rather than fuel. You might get some smart guys out there who figured it out that it might be best to do that. But I don't think so. But it's going to be interesting to see. This is one of those tracks where you can play several different strategies and still have a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things that I noticed in our race notes here, as that is not what we want to see there. But anyhow, one of the other things that we noticed here, or that we have in our broadcast notes, is that pit exit is also a little bit of a concern here, as well as pit entry. We're going to look here on board with Jose Phillips as he makes his exit now out of pit lane.
Look at as he's coming out. You see how the right side wheels get out? It is so thin. I can't believe they designed the racetrack like that, coming out of the pits. But it is so thin getting out of there. You've really got to thread the needle coming out of the pits. And if you get the right sides on the bank part of the racetrack, you can get that car turned around in a hurry. I want to take this time real quick to say hello in the chat to Babs, who just shouted out, "Hello, race fans, and let's go FBR." She's rooting for the 42. Obviously, that's Chad Simpson's mother there. Hi, Babs. Nice to see you. And we've got Melinda S. out there saying, "Let's go racing." And believe me, Melinda, we're all excited about this one. This should be a barn burner.
Absolutely. Michael Bourne joining us in chat as well, the race control in here with the commentating booth. Well, not necessarily with us physically per se, but is here watching the broadcast live with us. But anyhow, look at that. A little bit of, who is that? Jeffrey Rowlett it looks like here, had a little bit of a moment. Oh, the front end of that machine is absolutely been out of shape here. And with just 10 seconds left to go in our warm-up, we are going to go into our starting grid here. And folks, I am absolutely excited for the racing here tonight. You know, these first few laps, oh man, it is going. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat here, Rick.
I love it. I gotta be honest. I think I'm more excited than you are. I'm about as excited as I could be with my clothes on. Let's just leave it at that.
That's one way to put it, Rick. As we see the end of our warm-up session, our drivers meeting come to an end here, and we have our starting grid up on screen. It's going to be Nate Siefker in the number 2 machine, starting out in first place with a very strong lead here. Mike Grandy Sr. in the 12 machine, going to be starting out in second place, rounding out your first row. Dan Brazington in the 29 machine, going to be starting in third place with FBR Motorsports. Yari Brupatcher in the 89 taking fourth place, rounding out your second row. Chad Simpson in the 42 machine with Satellite Racing taking fifth place. Butch Davis in the 43, also with FBR Motorsports, the teammate of Dan Brazington, going to be taking sixth place, rounding out your third row. Jeff Hollingsworth in the 97 taking seventh place. Lyle Swearingen in the 68 machine, going to be taking eighth place. Bentley Glazer going to be taking ninth, and Jack Turner taking our 10th place spot. Rick, why don't you round us out here?
Jack Turner, incidentally, is the only driver in the field who does not have a Class A iRacing license. He's got a Class C currently, but he's working on getting that B and hopefully the A someday, which I'm sure he'll get there. Paul Crumry is going to start in 11th, and Tim Bates, alongside of him, will be in 12th. Then it's going to be Jake Walsh and Jeffrey Rowlett. Ernie Ludwig, Chris Samard, Jose Miguel Phillips Figueroa, or Jose Phillips, if you will, and Ryan Cruz will be on the outside. Mark McFadden, I'm saying that correctly. It is not McFadden. It's McFadden. He'll be on the inside of that row with William Fletcher alongside of him. Then it's going to be Carl Burke, Kevin O'Brien, and Shane Loveridge. And that is your 23 race cars qualified for this event. As we go to the front of the field, Nate Siefker brings them around. Car number 2. That's a pretty design, isn't it? I love that car. It's got the black. It's more like a deep green and then a lighter shade of green. Now, here's the thing. Nate Siefker, if he takes the lead, he has found something here. He was struggling in practice, Mason, and then all of a sudden he found something and put that number 2 on the pole. Not surprised, but if Nate Siefker gets out in front, he is going to be tough to catch. As we look ahead for the green flag, Nate Siefker brings them around. Oh, so slowly, waiting for the last minute. They're almost at the start-finish line, but the green comes out finally, and we're racing here at Loudon, New Hampshire. Nate Siefker picks up the lead, as predicted. Mike Grandy, a name that we haven't seen at the top of the chart or even near the top lately. He's running in second place, and Nate Siefker completes lap number 1 out in front here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, and look at the field back here. We're looking at 7th place Lyle Swearingen at the moment. Currently up on the outside, it looks like, in that 68 machine. Going to be up on top right now of Jeff Hollingsworth down on his inside currently, as well as tracking behind Chad Simpson at this moment. These guys 2 wide, 4 deep. Oh, man.
Gary Brupatcher almost, Butch Davis stuck his nose on the outside, and Brupatcher wasn't complete the corner yet, and almost clipped the front end of Butch as Butch now comes around Brupatcher, and he picks up 4th place. Brupatcher still stays down low, and now it looks like Chad Simpson's going to take him on the outside.
Yeah, we got some phenomenal battles happening here already. Lap 4 of 175 here at New Hampshire. And it's, oh man, Rick, this has already been some phenomenal battles that we've had right out of the gate here. We're looking at 8th place Jeff Hollingsworth right now. You know, really a lot of the battles happening right here mid-pack. You also see some drivers back here a little bit just further back. We're currently looking at Ernie Ludwig in the 26 machine in 13th place. Currently just ahead of him is Jack Turner, going to be duking it out with Jose Phillips, who we just saw a little bit ago with a very interesting move there.
You know, I'll tell you what else. You used the word interesting. Here's what's interesting. Nate Siefker has pulled out to over a second lead, and the rest of the field is separated by 3/10, 2/10, 5/10. Swearingen and Brupatcher now. Jeff Hollingsworth comes around and picks up 7th place from Chad Simpson. Bentley Glazer way down there in 20th place, and I guess we only had 21 cars start this race because I don't see those last two. We had 23, and I don't know if 2 dropped out or what. But Chad Simpson was going at it with Jeff Hollingsworth. They're still swapping back and forth.
Yeah, these drivers still giving it their all here in the early stages of this race here, Rick. And, like we said at the beginning of this broadcast, these drivers are going to be fighting these tires probably a lot sooner than they're going to be worrying about fuel. So how soon we're going to see this field kind of spread out here, it's really just it's a question for me, but I think it's only just a matter of time here as just these drivers just seem to be driving the wheels off these things, Rick.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. I mean, this is really entertaining to watch. There goes Simpson once again down to the inside. He's going to pick up the position from, just in front of them, Swearingen just got real loose coming off turn 2. Woo! But he was able to save it and continues on. But meanwhile, just behind them, and you can see it from this angle, Jeff Hollingsworth still battling with Jari Brupatcher. But that was a close one for Lyle Swearingen. Now Chad Simpson begins to close in on him. Swearingen, we saw him running that high line during practice and in the warm-up, and he seemed to feel pretty comfortable with it. Now Swearingen's slowing down, and Chad Simpson's going to rocket by. It's almost as if Swearingen just gave up the position.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see just the dynamic of this race and how it's unfolding here in this early stage. Very, very early stage here, Rick. I mean, this is only lap number 10 right now, and we're stacked up here up in the front. We're stacked up in the midsection of the field. Heck, let's go back here to 17th place with Jeffrey Rowlett. We're even stacked up back here. So, I mean, there's battles happening all over the track, and there's contact.
There's an accident. Shane Loveridge is involved. Timothy Bates. Oh, my goodness. Did I curse him? Timothy Bates also involved in that car number 21. Well, we'll see if he can get back out there and get repaired. Otherwise, well, we'll be the beneficiaries of getting an interview with this funny guy.
Yeah, and that was kind of, with how these guys were going about this race here in really just these first not even 15 laps. I'm not gonna jinx it, Rick, but I kind of had a feeling.
Shane Loveridge, car number 72. He was running pretty good. I mean, he started 21st. He moved up a couple of spots. All of a sudden, well, we're going to have to take a look at the replay to see what happens or what happened. Right there, we're looking at Butch Davis on this replay. We need to get back to Shane. And there he is. That's a wide view. Let's see now. Does the back end notice somebody spun in front of him? Oh, that's Bates. That's Bates. Bates was the one who spun, and he collected Loveridge.
Here, let's take a look. We'll put this one more time here. So here's Timothy Bates. We're looking at him going into turn 3. You can already see him getting a little bit unsettled there in the rear end, starting that slide.
See, the problem is, Mason, he was on the very bottom of the racetrack. It looks like there's a lane down there, and in fact there is, but it's so much flatter than that second lane. If you haven't practiced down there, it's almost impossible. I mean, if you haven't worked out the bars in the jacket to where it's going to run comfortably, if you get down there, you're spinning. You're going around.
Yeah, gosh, and it's this track really, like you said, Rick, these turns seem similar, right? But they're just ever so slightly different that I think a lot of these drivers, they might feel even a little tempted to go down onto the bottom half of this track here and into these turns to be able to, whether it's avoid another driver in front of them, get side by side with them, compete for position. I mean, if the option is there, I'm sure a lot of these drivers would be more than tempted to take that opportunity here. And that's the risk that you take in these races. So, it's kind of like a double-edged sword in that situation where, hey, you have that option, but you run the risk of overdriving it into that turn or just losing all the grip underneath you, and there you go. That's exactly what we see.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kevin O'Brien just came into the pits, but I want to point out we've had several drivers who have made pit stops. This could be part of the strategy that we were talking about. We're only 14 laps now into this race, but Jeff Hollingsworth came in. Jari Brupatcher came in. Paul Crumry came into the pits. Jack Turner also made a stop. Ernie Ludwig, Bentley Glazer, Mark McFadden. They've all made stops, and now Kevin O'Brien might be saying, you know what, might not be a bad idea. They might be onto something here. Maybe they could stretch the fuel miles just a little bit. But Nate Siefker still with the lead. Dan Bracington moves up to second place. Butch Davis moves up to third. Mike Grandy with a superlative run runs up in fourth place right now. Chad Simpson, smooth and steady like he always is.
Look at Siefker all the way down here on the bottom of the track.
Yeah, well, that's a Nate Siefker tactic. He actually picked that up from me, believe it or not, when we used to run in the leagues. I used to restart in several different ways just to throw off the guy behind me, and Nate started doing it, so now he's come up with a few of his own little gimmicks. But Nate Siefker picks up the lead once again, still with the lead, I should say. Dan Bracington runs in second, and, well, we're watching now Butch Davis running with Mike Grandy. I'm interested to see what Grandy could do. He looks like he stumbled on something. Grandy is down there in the team room with Siefker, so perhaps Siefker shared some kind of a speed secret with him. Cars side by side. There's another great battle. That looks like
Simard and Phillips.
Right, Jose Phillips and Chris Simard. Chris Simard was struggling. You see how close he was to the bottom of the racetrack right there. That groove all the way down there is it's treacherous. You don't want to get the left sides underneath that line. Now let's see what see he's keeping it just above the line right there.
Yeah, and look at Chris, man. He is definitely moving up this field right now, up 8 spots from where he started, in 8th place right now. And there he goes, down on the bottom of Jake Walsh. Is he going to be able to make it this turn? Not quite, but down the front straight we go. And into turn 1, I don't think it'll be too long before we see the 77 make its way down on the inside of the 33 as he gets right on the rear wing of that 33 machine. We're going to take a moment to ride on board with the gyro cam, or the roll bar camera, excuse me, of the 77 machine. Look at how close these guys are trying to get to one another. And, you know, that's one of the things about these races that I love, Rick, is just these open wheel. Oh, man, I love it. I'm all for it, Rick.
Oh, so am I. I mean, this has just been great to watch. We're seeing a lot of good racing throughout the field right now.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. All the battles that we have on track right now. Look at Butch Davis up here in 3rd place at the moment. Made his way around Mike Grandy up here into 3rd place and tracking down Dan Bracington. But looks like Jack Turner has a little bit of a moment here as he brings it down into the pits. We're going to take a look at what happened here for
and yellow's out.
Yeah, the 55 machine bringing out the caution here. A little bit of a close angle there. Let's back that up just a second here. Oh, just gets loose all on his own. Narrowly avoids another driver. 2 drivers there almost. That was a close one there, Rick.
Jack Turner, I got to take a look at that on the replay, on my replay, because I want to see just how close he got to that bottom groove that I was talking about. That, matter of fact, well, okay, wait, he's coming off turns. I'm looking on my replay. Yeah, he got the left sides. He got the left sides exactly where I said they shouldn't be, in that bottom lane, and around she went. That's going to happen. If you get the left sides down there, there's nothing you could do. That back end's coming around.
So a lot of drivers...
If they're listening to the broadcast, incidentally, if any drivers are out there, stay off that bottom groove, because there's nothing you can do. We see the fake out. Butch Davis almost went in. Dan Bracington also made it look like he was about to go in, but it looks like Jose Phillips is going to take advantage of this yellow flag, and he's going to make a stop. So is Mike Grandy. He's coming in. Lyle Swearingen, he's also in the pits. Yari Brubpatcher, Glazer, Ludwig, McFadden, Kevin O'Brien, he's back in the pits, even though he made a stop just a handful of laps ago. He's coming in. Siefker maintains the lead.
Yeah, Siefker out in the lead. Bracington taking 2nd place. Butch Davis in 3rd. Chad Simpson in 4th. Jake Walsh in 5th place. And Rick, it has been, man, it's how these drivers get separated on these restarts here. It's so fast in how it happens, and how these drivers are trying to mitigate that, to get that pace out of these cars that they need to be able to stay up there with the driver in front of them. Now, it's not exactly happening in the most extreme way that you can think of here, but it's very interesting to see how much these drivers have to kind of work with here and utilize to their advantage at a track like New Hampshire.
Yeah, we're on lap 23 of 175. if it continues like this race is going to take quite some time. Incidentally, Jake Walsh just reported that he realized halfway into that first green flag run that he was in fuel map 8. So he did start to drop back, but then he worked his way back up to 5th place, where he's running right now. But then again, there are others that pitted that he benefited from those pit stops, so that also helped to move him up a little bit.
Yeah, and we're seeing some pretty good movers here in the field. We're Jake Walsh here in 5th place, up 8 spots. Chris Simard up 10 spots in 6th place, just behind Jake Walsh, and Jeffrey Rowlett just behind Chris Simard, up 7 spots here at the start of this race. So I mean, a lot of these guys here, they're finding some pretty good pace out on track. We have a few drivers that have had not as great a success in this first half of the race, but we've also seen some pretty interesting strategies with that first caution coming out. We had a good chunk of the field come down into the pits and practically shuffle themselves all the way to the back of the field here. So I don't know, Rick. We're seeing a lot of different strategies being played out, and we're not even remotely close to a
coming into the pits.
Yes,
Ludwig is back in. Ludwig and O'Brien, they're teammates down there, and they're both pitting again. Meanwhile, might as well get a sponsor plug in because the lights are still on in the pace car. So at this time, we're here to tell you that the Lobster Tails 175 is being brought to you by EasonC.com. EasonC, set it free, be free. And it's also being brought to you by SimMotion. If you need to enhance your sim racing experience, try SimMotion. And of course, this race is being brought to you by our badass racers right here at the SRE. It's the Sim Racer's Edge. We're on lap 25 of 175. Pace car is now in the pits. Nate Siefker still with the lead. I was running a little bit behind on my screen, and so I apologize for that. But nothing has changed up front. Siefker's still leading the race. Dan Bracington runs in 2nd. Butch Davis is 3rd. Chad Simpson 4th. Jake Walsh runs in 5th place.
Yeah, we got a great battle here for 11th place. Mike Grandy, as well as Yari Brupatcher and Jose Phillips, both duking it out here for 12th place at this point in time. Down the back straight they go. Looks like Yari there has to shuffle himself back behind the 48 machine, and not quite the best entry and exit there out of 3 and 4 for the 89 machine of Yari Brupatcher. But nonetheless, Yari decided to come down into the pits as well this last caution. So he's on those fresh set of tires, so I'm not sure if he's going to be fighting them a little bit here, maybe getting a little bit loose, just trying to get those tires warmed up after that restart. I'm not exactly 100% certain on that here. But as we look here in 5th place, Jake Walsh, Chris Simard duking it out. Simard down on the inside, coming out of turn 2, down the back straight. Simard not quite going to have the speed here as we come into turn 3. It's going to be Walsh still out in front, but Simard taking that low line, Rick, that you have mentioned time and time again that drivers really should try and avoid here. But nonetheless, like I was saying, Rick, these guys, they're going to take it. It's there. It's like a wide open door, and it's almost kind of like oh man, I can't even think of the word for it, Rick, but it's like trick or treat is what I was looking for.
Well, Jake Walsh right now with that outside line, he's going to have the advantage coming back onto the straightaways. I talked to Chris Simard before the race. It's getting more and more difficult for him with his hips being what they are. They're not in good shape, and Simard gets a little bit loose coming off that corner. Here comes Jeffrey Rowlett. Jeffrey Rowlett going into turn 3. He's going to take the inside line, but Chris Simard up high. Look at this battle. But we're not looking at the battle right there. I'm looking at Chris Simard. I don't know who we're looking at. I think that might be Swearingen. Okay, there it is.
There we
That's
go.
Simard.
We're back on.
Simard. But he told me it's getting increasingly difficult for him to actually sit through an entire sim race because of his hips, and he says he's most likely going to have surgery because he needs it. Still has to go in for that MRI as we're looking at the battle right there for I don't know what position, because I'm looking at Simard still on my screen. And still trying to get used to the colors of these cars.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting here in the sim racing world for a broadcaster. You know, you never know when a driver is going to change up their paint scheme. Even if they don't, it still takes. You'd be surprised how long it takes to get familiar with all of the drivers' paint schemes and make sure that you have them all correct. It definitely even takes myself a little bit of time here from time to time. But look at this battle between Lyle Swearingen and looks like Jeffrey Rowlett. No, excuse me, that's going to be Paul Crumry. Yeah, in the 15 machine. Not as sure if he was getting a little unstable there. Might have just been my eyes, but man, you know, as we're progressing here, lap 34 of 175, we're looking pretty well calm out here on track. Let's take a look at our track map down on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Just give us an idea of what's where our field kind of stands. You can see Nate Siefker with nearly 2 seconds between himself and Dan Brazington in the 29 machine. So Nate Siefker here is having a phenomenal night here, Rick, but we still have some drivers that could very well have some tricks up their sleeve. Dan Brazington, Butch Davis, Chad Simpson, Jake Walsh. I mean, these drivers, they're all still pretty well tightly packed here, all things considered. And just, I don't know. I think Nate Siefker is looking pretty good right now, but he's still got a lot of work ahead of him here, Rick. And I think that, man, I don't even know how many pit stops we're actually going to have here before the end of the race.
I'm going to go downstairs and see if I can get Timothy Bates for an interview because it looks like he's out of the race.
All right. Well, while Rick does that, we just tuned in here with Bentley Glazer for a moment and saw him get a little bit unstable there in the back end, but we got a car sideways. Looks like Jose Phillips, the 48 machine, getting himself a little unstable here out of turn 2. The caution is out here. And let's see exactly what happened here to the 48 machine of Jose Phillips. Coming across the line, going into turn 1. Speed things up here a little bit.
I'm back. I couldn't get Bates. He was down there, and I called his name, and he did not respond. So we could try again. Meanwhile, as you can see, the yellow came out. Jose Phillips. No idea what happened there. I actually missed it. I'm going to go back and see.
He got himself
he was going into turn 1 and got on the bottom of the racetrack again. See? What is that, the third or fourth time tonight?
I believe this is the third time. It's all of our cautions.
These guys listen to me, Mason? Why don't they listen to me?
You know, Rick, sometimes, you know, maybe we should just kind of tie in like a little speaker into our drivers' helmets so that way they can just hear us talking throughout the whole broadcast. I think that's a brilliant idea.
You know what I don't understand is they have plenty of time to practice. The SRE puts up, a handful of practice sessions, different times so that the drivers can make it. Hopefully they can make it, but there is a lot of time offered. If you can't make it, well, that's a different story. But if you practice, and I don't care what track it is, you're going to go high, you're going to go mid, you're going to go low, and you're going to see what works and what doesn't, and what is treacherous and what is easy to run. And if you get on the bottom of the racetrack and you don't realize by now that you really shouldn't be down there, well, it's kind of your own fault. Lyle Swearingen now picks up the lead. Nate Siefker came into the pits. Swearingen, 17 laps on those tires. Grandy also 17. Brupatcher same. But Nate Siefker is going to come out of the pits. It looks like he's going to come out in 4th place, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, indeed. Siefker's back there in 4th place. Bracington and Butch Davis follow him up 5th and 6th. Then it's going to be Chad Simpson, Jake Walsh, Jeffrey Rowlett, and Jeff Hollingsworth rounding out the top 10. So, Lyle Swearingen now with the lead instead of trailing. Nate Siefker, he hasn't had to run in dirty air this entire race, 40 laps in, and he's been the leader. I think he's led every single lap thus far, but now we'll see what happens. But he is on fresh tires, so the guys running in front of him on the older tires, 18 laps on those tires. It's going to be interesting to see, can Nate Siefker work his way up, even though he's got the full fuel load too, so it's going to be interesting here.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to note here, Swearingen, Grandy, Brupatcher, all three of them in the top 3 at this point in time. They're going to be about, if I'm not mistaken, Rick, about halfway through their fuel/tire stint, if you will. So I'm not exactly
Pretty close.
100% certain on how long these three drivers will be able to stay up here, but that might also just be a part of the strategy. Maybe these guys might not be thinking about coming home with a podium tonight. Maybe they're just thinking, hey, I want to come home with the best finish that I possibly can, and this is so far working in their favor. Now, how long it's going to stay that way is yet to be seen, as I believe we are about, I think, just one lap left to go here before we see the pace car. Indeed, so the lights are off on the pace car, so this will be the last time around here for our third caution, and we will see the green flag fly once again here at New Hampshire. Rick, what a race it's been here for round number 11 of the SRE Alpha Series.
It most definitely has. There's been a lot of interesting things happening. We've had some early yellows, as I predicted, and guys are still getting down there on the bottom of the racetrack. They need to stay away from that. But right now, Swearingen with the lead. Grandy runs in second place. Jari Brupatcher is third. They have 19-lap-old tires. Can Nate Siefker, Dan Bracington, Butch Davis, can they work their way back up as the green flag comes out once again? And Swearingen is going to pull away just a little bit. We're going to watch behind now and see if Brupatcher can close in on Grandy and also see what Siefker can do on those fresh tires.
Yeah, really, this whole field behind these guys in the top three, all of them going to be on a fresh set of tires, and they're going to be fighting the pace of these drivers behind them before too long, I do have a feeling. But right now, Jari Brupatcher trying to close in on Mike Grandy at this point in time in that second place spot. Still got a little.
Swearingen running the outside, the extreme outside line. I told you that was going to be beneficial.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I was kind of interested about here, Rick, about New Hampshire, is just the difference in lines that you can take here and just how that plays out throughout the rest of the race here. So very interesting to see kind of the problem points that we're seeing on the racetrack. We saw it on the bottom half, I believe that's turn 2, where drivers are just getting a little bit too, actually I believe it's turn 3, where drivers are getting on the bottom half of that racetrack and are just giving a little bit too much there on the gas. But look at this, Mike Grandy now almost right on the rear wing of that 68 machine. He's closing in here, Rick, and Mike Grandy is looking, he's had some pretty solid runs here these past few races, I would have to say.
Well, he definitely has. We haven't seen him near the front of the field recently, but he's doing a great job. This is going to be fun to watch. Lyle Swearingen trying to hold on to the lead. Which line is going to work better? Remember now, these guys have the same amount of laps on their tires, so let's see what happens. Swearingen still with the lead. Grandy, there's a nice shot from inside of his car. Mike Grandy Sr., car number 12. Don't get the left sides on that inside groove there, Mike. Keep them right where it's at. Jeffrey Rowlett, meanwhile, back in 8th place, side by side with Jake Walsh. Walsh is going to pick up that spot, but Rowlett is giving him one heck of a run right now. There he comes again. He comes off of turn number 2. The back end of Walsh's car got a little bit squirrely, but he was able to hang on to it. But this is a great battle. This is a battle for 8th place.
Yeah, and if before too long, if these two drivers, Jake Walsh and Jeffrey Rowlett, are able to catch up to the 42 of Chad Simpson, there might be a three-way battle here for 7th. There you see Jake Walsh getting very, very close here to the rear end of the 42. Chad Simpson here down the back straight we go. Is Jake Walsh going to try? Nope, he's not. He's not going to be too bold this time around. He's going to keep it rather tame, but still getting very close to that very, very bottom end of that track here. And I think a lot of drivers now at this point here, Rick, are pretty well aware of the danger there. Look at this. Walsh, he's not able to hold on to it. He goes spinning. Oh, look at that.
Driver. Oh, we got a big crash just ahead. Jeffrey Rowlett, and Paul Crumry.
Oh.
And Crumry tries to get it back into the pits, but he can't do it. That car is toast.
Look at this carnage here, Rick. Smacks into the back ends of Jeffrey Rowlett. Sends that 15 machine just flipping.
There's an example. There's an example of the roll bar and the windscreen, the aero screen, protecting the driver, because if it wasn't for that, he would have been in bad shape. We need to go back and see what happened to Jake Walsh if we can. If we could focus on his car. That's Paul Crumry that you're looking at. There's Walsh, the left sides again on the inside of the racetrack. And apparently nobody in the field is watching the broadcast or at least listening to it while they're racing, because I'm still seeing guys get down there, and they really shouldn't be doing that at this point. Other drivers have lost control, and they've got to be talking to one another, saying, "Guys, you got to stay off of that the bottom lane." I just don't understand it.
And I would almost be wondering to myself here, Rick, like, is there any sort of communication happening right now amongst the drivers saying, hey, we gotta watch out for this. This definitely seems to be like a problem point in our race here tonight. And given that here in the iRacing service, drivers have that ability to be able to communicate to each other, whether it's their thoughts and feelings about a certain incident or if it's something to actually contribute to the greater benefit of the race for everyone else involved. It's interesting to myself, Rick, when this is our fourth caution. This is the same incident that we've seen 4 times in a row now, and it's not a knock to the drivers. It's more or less, what can we do as drivers to mitigate this? What can we do to fix this?
I don't understand what the situation is. Like you just said, we've seen 4 incidents in a row where the driver got on the in the bottom lane, lost control, and brought out a yellow flag. You would think. Now, I haven't been monitoring the communications through iRacing with race control, but you would think somebody would have said something by at this point to say, listen, guys, you got to stay off the bottom, because it just doesn't work down there.
Yeah, and that's another thing too about a lot of these leagues. We have live race control most of the time, not always, but for a lot of leagues there is usually someone in the race control booth monitoring the happenings of the race, and they, as the drivers do as well, are able to communicate with each other and convey certain issues that need to be addressed. So a little bit, and it may even be that, Rick, these drivers are trying to mitigate this problem, but when you're in the heat of the moment as a driver, it kind of all those things just get tossed out the window, and you maybe not think about it nearly as much. But when things happen like this consistently, you almost kind of have to kick yourself in the keister and get yourself in gear.
Yeah, it's true. And meanwhile, Mike Grandy pitted. So did Yari Brudpatcher, Bentley Glazer, Jeff Hollingsworth, Mark McFadden, and Butch Davis. They came in. Ernie Ludwig, Kevin O'Brien, Shane Loveridge, Jake Walsh, Jeffrey Rowlett. Pretty much everybody in the field except for the top 5 cars pitted, and that's gonna move Nate Siefker into second place behind Swearingen. Now Nate Siefker has 14 laps on his tires, and Swearingen now has 31. And with the yellow flag, Swearingen might be able to get another 20 laps before he has to pit. But it's going to be interesting to see if Nate Siefker is going to kind of bide his time, knowing that Swearingen has to pit, or is Siefker going to go for it as the green flag comes out once again?
Look at that. Sorry to interrupt you there, Rick, but that was that looked like an intentional move there from Swearingen. Definitely slowing down the 2-car of Nate Siefker as much as he could on that restart to try and give himself a nice gap, and he's done so here. Just over a half a second between these two drivers right now. But like you said, Rick, Nate Siefker going to be on those slightly fresher tires. Lap 38 was the last time that we seen the number 2 car come in for, I believe it was the 3rd caution that came out here for this race here. Now, Nate Siefker definitely knows what he's doing around here at New Hampshire, so I don't think it'll be too long before we see Swearingen start to see that pressure from Nate Siefker before too long.
Yeah, it could be. Nate has already started to reel him in just slightly, but Swearingen is swearing by that high line, the top side. I mean, he's only about 6 feet away from that outside retaining wall as he goes through the corner and once again comes down the backstretch. And, well, we just saw Butch Davis come around. It looked like Mark McFadden. And Jake Walsh now comes around Ernie Ludwig as Siefker continues to close in for the lead. That's Butch Davis right there. You see him. He's running in 10th place. Jeff Hollingsworth is running just behind or just in front of him, and he comes around. Butch Davis is going to pick up the spot. Butch Davis now runs in 9th place. Jeff Hollingsworth runs in 10th, and Davis is really on the move here. and he's coming after Bentley Glazer. Butch Davis, by the way, is now starting to roll that top side, and that was the line that I recommended.
Yeah, and one thing I'm noticing here, Rick, as these drivers are coming out of, particularly, it looked like turn 3. We'll have to see if the same happens here in turn 2, coming out of the back straight. Does not look like it, but if you pay very close attention, coming out of turn 4, excuse me, I got that last turn incorrect, you can kind of see these drivers start to wobble a little bit. And there it is, right there, and oh man, that is just so sketchy to watch up here in the broadcast booth. It's those very tense moments as a driver, when you start to feel that car just get unsettled, it's white knuckle time. 14, let's check out what's going on here. Ooh, look at this battle here.
Look at this three-way. There's a four-way. Oh, he's on the inside. He's on that low line, and he's going to make it through. Whew, boy, I got a little nervous right there. That was Shane Loveridge. Let's see if he does it again. See if he feels comfortable down there. No, in 1 and 2, he's going to run the second group, the second lane. Comes out right in front of Ernie Ludwig. Boy, that was a close one right there.
That was absolutely close. There was probably only inches, if not less, between those two drivers. Man, that was some very close battling happening, and there's still, a couple battles happening out here on track. We have Bentley Glazer, Butch Davis kind of duking it out with each other for that 8th place spot. Meanwhile, just ahead of them, Yari Brupatcher, Mike Grandy as well duking it out for that 6th place spot here. So, Rick, even with the cautions that we've had come out, it's allowed these drivers to get stacked back up again and allow us to have this kind of great battle throughout this race. And I think as a driver, I think that's all these guys want to have, is just a fun, clean race.
Oh yeah, well, I think everybody wants to have fun. Everybody wants to win, and they certainly want it to be clean. Nobody wants to wreck or stick anybody else in the fence. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it's still kind of static. Swearingen has been running that top side. He's still got the lead. Nate Siefker is running down still on that second lane, and he's staying with Swearingen, but we got to remember he also has those fresher tires. Lyle Swearingen now 42 laps into this run, so he's going to have to pit within, we've had a couple of yellow flags during this run, so within the next 5 to 7 laps as we're looking at Butch Davis get it sideways, not sideways, but he got a little squirrely coming off turn 2. He's running just behind Brupatcher. Brupatcher has been doing a very, very solid job here of keeping in front of Butch Davis. And I'm going to go downstairs and try one more time to get a hold of Timothy Bates.
Meanwhile, we are going to take a quick look at our championship standings while Rick does that. So currently, while there's a little bit of a lull in the action here on the field, let's take a look at our current championship standings. So as we're looking at Butch Davis still currently on the left-hand side of your screen there, Nate Siefker going to be in first place with 320 points. Butch Davis going to be in that second place spot with 298. Chad Simpson in third with 288. Jeffrey Rowlett in that fourth place spot with 222. Bentley Glazer with 211, rounding out our top 5 here. So looking at how everyone is performing here in today's race, Nate Siefker taking that battle for the lead. There it is, Rick. It was only before too long before we saw. No, go. It's perfectly fine. Nate Siefker. It wouldn't. Like I said, Rick, it wasn't going to take him very long at all to catch up here.
He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to do this because Swearingen's going to have to pit. He's got 46 laps now, and I can't imagine him maybe another handful of laps, and he's got to come in. So would Nate actually take the chance? Nate Siefker just got a little bit sideways there in turn 2, so he's definitely going to be making some adjustments to his roll bars to compensate for that, or perhaps the weight jacker.
Yeah, and like you said, Rick, it's kind of interesting seeing Nate so eager, it almost seems like, to get up here into the lead. Maybe he doesn't even know that Lyle is on those older set of tires. He might not even be aware of that, but
he knows.
I was going to say,
Nate Siefker, not Nate. Nate knows. He keeps track of everything. He has those programs, in his computer running, so he knows when people pitted, how fast the pit stop was. The only thing he doesn't know is what their tire wear looks like.
Yeah, and that's one advantage that sim racers have in their disposal, is the ability to have a lot of this information up on their displays and be able to kind of get a quick glance at what the rest of the field looks like.
Unless you're in VR.
Yeah,
unless you're in VR.
if
Because
you're
you can't monitor left and right. You have 3 monitors, and this one's up above you. Butch Davis, incidentally, has one of the most amazing. Oh, what are we looking at? It looks like Seifker almost got into it. Who was that? With Ernie Ludwig. Well, that was a close one. They both came around Ludwig, but Seifker and Ludwig were awful close to making contact, and they're still battling for the lead.
Still going at it.
Seifker just went through Ludwig on my screen. He actually went through his race car, so he was really lucky there.
Unfortunate we didn't catch it live on the broadcast here, but hopefully we don't see that similar incident happen again, but with worse results. It's very interesting that happened here, but look at how close Nate Seifker is getting here. Going to try his hand down on the inside of the 68 of Lyle Swearingen, and I gotta say, Lyle doing very impressive work here, staying out in front of this number 2 machine. Now, it could also be that Nate is intentionally keeping his foot off the throttle a little bit, trying to keep himself from finding himself in the same fate that we've seen a lot of other. Yeah.
But Lyle has been using that outside line, which does not wear the tires nearly as much as when you get it down on the inside groove. So he's really been conserving the tires. He's on lap 52 of this stint. Nobody has been out there and longer than Lyle Swearingen. The rest of the field, the rest of the top 4, Seifker, Bracington, Simpson, and Samard, have been out there for 35 laps. They're on their 36th lap right now. But again, Swearingen should have to come into the pits anytime now. And if you're going by how many yellows there has been so far, maybe Swearingen stayed out counting on another yellow. But Nate Seifker just stays right there with him. And Swearingen just keyed up and said, I'm coming into the pits.
And there it is, folks. Lyle is not going to be able to stay out much longer on those tires.
He's coming in right now.
Yes.
He just keyed up, and he just let Nate Seifker take the lead because he did not want to cross in front of Nate coming into the pits. That was a real gentleman move by Swearingen. But now, wait a minute, he's staying out. He just keyed up and said he's coming in, but he's staying out for one more lap. And the yellow flag comes out.
Shane
The
Loveridge.
Yellow flag. And Mark McFadden. Mark McFadden is involved.
All right, let's take a look at what happened here. We'll take a look at Mark
And it's
McFadden's.
the same story. McFadden on the inside groove. And it looks like he also took out, who was that? It
looks like Ernie Ludwig, yes.
Ernie Ludwig. So Ludwig is the victim of a McFadden mistake, and Ernie Ludwig is his teammate. That's McFadden's teammate.
Man.
I can't believe this.
There's
got to be some conversation going on down in that team room right now.
You know, and it's one thing. Here's the thing, folks. When you're in a race, with your teammates, you know, you still have that competition. You know, it's not exactly as clear and cut where one person is determined to win the race. Now, I'm sure a lot of you probably have some objections to that and examples that you could show me, but the point being is these drivers are going to race against one another if they have the opportunity to. Now, as we see our drivers making their way down into the pits, so it looks like a majority of our field. Butch Davis, though, going to be staying out here. That's pretty interesting. But
wait a minute. 28 laps on those tires, 28 laps. He's going to have to come in within the next 15 or 16 laps, I think. So I don't know why Butch is staying out, but maybe he's just going to try something different here. The real beneficiary of this is Lyle Swearingen. He's the one who looks like a genius right now, staying out on those older tires. But he's going to come out of the pits, it looks like, as they shuffle through. Rubpatcher stays out. Of the drivers who pitted, Nate Seifker is going to come out in third place. Swearingen is going to come out just behind him in fourth. Dan Bracington will be in fifth place. Chad Simpson in sixth. Grandy and Chris Samard, well, they just switched. Chris Samard looks like he's running seventh. Grandy's eighth. Bentley Glazer ninth. Jeff Hollingsworth is going to come out in 10th place. But Butch Davis staying out along with Rubpatcher. That's very interesting.
Can you believe the luck of Lyle Swearingen right now? Can you believe that, Rick?
That's amazing. I mean, I heard him call out that he was going to pit, and then he stayed to the inside of the racetrack, which is the first time he's run down there all day. Nate Seifker quickly took advantage and went around and picked up the lead, and I expected Swearingen to pit, but for some strange reason, Lyle decided, I'm going to stay out one more lap. I think I can make another lap. And during that lap, the yellow came out. I mean, that is like, if I were him, I don't know where he lives, but I would just take a plane out to Vegas.
Yep. Buy your lottery ticket, head out to Vegas. Yeah, Lyle, I think you might have just hit the jackpot here as far as race restarts are concerned. So, I mean, if I'm sitting in that 68 car right now, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, that was a good one. We're about halfway through the race now. Let's do it again.
Well, Butch Davis, our former points leader, now runs right out in front. He won the first race of the season. And speaking of these races, we've only had 3 winners this season. Butch Davis and Nate Siefker have been very selfish as far as, giving wins away. They haven't given away much. There's only one other driver who was able to win a race. So we've had 3 winners. This week, we could have a first-time winner. And I forgot to mention that during the opening of this broadcast, but I had a sneaking feeling that we were going to see a dark horse win tonight, like perhaps a Jari Brupatcher or a Lyle Swearingen or a Dan Bracington. Chad Simpson, our defending champion, through 10 races, has yet to win a race, which is just that's unheard of. Chris Simard, who was as solid as they come, he had the race won at Atlanta, made a mistake coming out of the pits, and he lost the race. Mike Grandy could be another one. Bentley Glazer, they've all been so fast. And Jeff Hollingsworth, he really hasn't shown what he could do. But Jeff Hollingsworth could be a race winner today if a couple of cards fall his way. Let's take a look now. The lights are out on the pace car. And Butch Davis is going to bring the field around through turn number 4. Davis wastes no time and jumps on the throttle as the green flag comes out. Once again, we're on lap 82 of 175. Jari Brupatcher, remember, those 2 are the only 2 that haven't pitted. They stayed out, and they have 31 laps on those tires. We've got a fire-breathing Nate Siefker on fresh tires running just behind Jari Brupatcher. So what's going to happen here? Let's scan through the field and take a look if we have any battles going on. Not at the moment. They're pretty static right now, but Butch Davis now running that top side. Is he pulling away? He's got a 1.1 second lead on Brupatcher. But the interesting thing, again, is going to be watching Siefker on the fresh tires to see what he can do. Now these guys have pretty much got their bars and their weight jacker worked out to where they feel comfortable. So maybe you're not going to see so much trouble. Maybe you're not going to see any more spinning at this point.
Yeah, let's hope not, Rick. But we also have a new
got sideways coming off too.
Oh man, that was very close. Well, real quickly, we have a newcomer here in the chat, Dennis Faircloth. Welcome to the show, and I hope you are enjoying the action here thus far. But looks like we got a battle for second place. Nate Siefker, Jari Brupatcher there for only just a moment. Nate Siefker blowing right on by the 89 machine. Yeah, and that's all that was wrote for that one. Nate Siefker now going to be on a mission to track down Butch Davis, who now holds just about 2 seconds of a gap between himself and second place Nate Siefker at this point in time. So it's going to be a little bit before we see that gap close between those 2 drivers. But at this moment, we still have battles happening down on track between Chad Simpson, Chris Simard, Mike Grandy, Bentley Glazer here, kind of in a four-piece here. As Chris Simard tries to take it down on the inside. That's going to be a little bit close for comfort there. And oh man, Chris Simard, he definitely backed off there. He's definitely felt how close that one got there, Rick.
Chris Simard is one of those racers who you can feel completely comfortable running side by side with. He's not the kind of guy who's going to throw it down there and hope it sticks. He is just so smooth. And so, watching Chad Simpson racing with Chris Simard, you're watching 2 of the very best in terms of the trust factor. Watch them now. Again, Chad Simpson up high. Chris Simard takes another look down low, but he knows, Simard knows just how far he could push it before it starts to push up. So you're not going to see Simard. You're just not going to see these guys wreck. Simard now falls back into the hands of Mike Grandy. Grandy to the inside. Grandy might be taking over 7th place. What's Simard going to do? Simard is able to hold on up top. We're looking at Bentley Glazer now all of a sudden. Where's Bentley Glazer running?
Bentley Glazer is in 9th place at the moment.
In 9th place. I had to scan through because I looked at the television feed, and all of a sudden I saw from the in-car Bentley Glazer. Well, that's car number 4. That's it. I like that car too. I love the pretty purple and white. It's a nice color combination.
It is. It really is. And if I'm not mistaken, it is. Yes, it is. It is a Purple Heart. I can't read the last part of that, but it is a contribution to our troops. So great to see that
wonderful
number 4 machine out there on track, representing all of the troops that allow us to do what exactly we are doing here today, Rick. So got to give a shout out to everyone that serves, both former and current.
I love them. I love them all. I hold them in the highest regard. I've been saying for many years, I'm a tough guy from New Jersey, an Italian guy from New Jersey. I've been through a lot, to put it mildly. I know how to box. I'm a tough guy, street guy, whatever. I could never do what these guys do. They're not men and women. Let's not leave out the women. They're just as important. To go out there and, have the guns in their hands and protecting our country. I just don't have the guts to do something like that. And I thank each and every one of them for allowing me to sleep in my cozy, comfortable little bed, sleep sound at night, knowing that we're safe because of them. And I have the utmost respect for them, and I just can't thank them enough. And whenever I see an enlisted in the street, I'll shake their hand, and if they'll let me give them a quick hug, I'll give them a hug. I'll tell them I love them and thank you for what you do or what you've done. Especially those older veterans. You see them wearing the, Vietnam vet hats and things like that. I just walk right up to them and I thank them and I'll salute them.
Oh, we got a car sideways or locked up there. Who is that? That is Kevin O'Brien. Nope, that is not Kevin O'Brien.
Nate Siefker drops back to 6th place.
Oh, no.
What happened to Siefker? What happened to Nate Siefker?
Gonna find out here. Let's take a look. All right.
Okay. Nate got a little bit sideways.
So we're taking a look here live on our feed. That is from the wrong perspective that we wanted there. Let's try that again.
Right. What a save, Mike. You've got to get that on replay. You've got to see that. Is that Siefker? Get it on Siefker. No, back it up. You've got it. The people watching have got to see. There it is.
Oh, folks.
Look at that. Fully sideways.
Oh.
Just dirt tracking it. Absolutely dirt tracking it through turn 2. And he stayed to the inside, and a whole host of cars came around him after that. Now, Nate Siefker continued to fall back because he superheated those tires. So he's got to stiffen the roll bar in the front and just kind of breathe it going through the next set of corners, because once you superheat those tires, it makes it so much easier to go around again because they get so super slippery.
And you know what the worst part about this, Rick, is there wasn't a caution flag that came out. But look at this battle here, just real quickly. Look at this battle here. We're 2 wide, 2 deep. Yari Brupatcher, Dan Brazington, Chris Samard, Mike Grandy, all in a 4-piece here. The battle for 4th place is looking pretty hot here. Lap 98 of 175. But back to my point, Rick, Nate Siefker probably not going to be the happiest camper right now. A caution definitely seemed like it should have came out there, but still going green here, and Nate Siefker all the way back into 8th place here. He is going to be biting his lip on this one.
The amazing thing about that is, I don't think the caution should have come out, but the amazing thing is that when Nate Siefker got it sideways, there was nobody in front of him, and there really was nobody behind him. It wasn't until he gathered it up and continued on when they caught up to him and, just blasted past him on the backstretch. So Nate Siefker was very fortunate. Everybody behind him was fortunate they weren't close to him when that happened. We've got another battle side by side. That looks like, that's Chad Simpson, isn't it? Yes, Chad Simpson battling with Swearingen. Swearingen led, we just saw him lead a lot of laps there, and he got very lucky when that yellow flag came out. He was able to stay up there in the top 3. But now Chad Simpson, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, smooth and steady, as is his custom, moves around and picks up 2nd place. So once again, we've got FBR running 1-2. So it looks like Babs is going to be pretty happy, and we've had a pretty active chat here. We should take a look at some of the things that are being said. Paul Crumry actually said unreal of what happened to him, and he also corrected us. Purple Heart Homes. He's now sponsored by Purple Heart Homes. Now, isn't that wonderful?
That is wonderful, and it's really great to see a lot of the things that are being done for the veteran community, both for, again, active duty and unenlisted, or retired, I should say.
Well, actually, Purple Heart Homes, what they do is they help veterans with home repairs. Now, that's got to be a wonderful thing to do, because some of these veterans, obviously, they can't do these repairs on their own due to injuries suffered in wars and things like that. So that is really a nice thing to do. So Purple Heart Homes, we should go out there and support them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a great thing to reach out and try and help your local veteran community in any way that you can. It's just a nice way to give back to your community and to show your support for those that give everything to, again, to have what we have here today. And
Amen to that.
And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be sitting here watching this excellent action that we have on screen. Look at this. Brazington down on the inside. No, that wasn't Brazington. That's Simard in the 77. Look at him moving and grooving here in 4th place, up 12 spots.
Look at all of this movement up there. Wow.
These guys are on it here, Rick.
Simard on the inside. Yari Brubpatcher. He just came around Brubpatcher, and just behind him in car number 12 is Mike Grandy. These guys are all fighting it out for 4th place right now. Simard has got 4th place. Lyle Swearingen just ahead of them in 3rd. And Butch Davis, incidentally, is due to come into the pits at any time. He's run 55 laps now on those tires, but interestingly, Chad Simpson, 2.6 seconds behind. Nobody has been able to reel Butch in, and he's got the oldest set of tires in the field.
Yeah, you know, and that's really surprising to see here as we cross the line. It's lap 107. Davis is coming in as we get a little bit of word here from our from our driver radio here, and there he goes down into the pits. Very good entry there. No mishaps, no problem. So we're gonna have to see how that's gonna affect Butch Davis here in the rest of his race, as he's gonna shuffle down to 11th place currently. And Chad Simpson takes the lead. We're gonna go back to 4th place now. Mike Grandy Sr. still in the lead. In 4th place, excuse me. Yari Brubpatcher right on the tail. Look at Nate Seefer trying to get right on the tail end of that 89 machine. Dan Brazington also down on the inside, almost getting wheel to wheel there with the number 2 machine. Down the front straight into turn 1. It's Yari Brubpatcher down on the inside of the 2. Nate Seeker, a little bit more speed as he comes down the top line out of turn 2 and down the back straight here. It's Nate Seeker in 5th place with Bentley Glazer in that number 4 machine. The Purple Heart Homes machine just behind him, sitting in 6th place. This is some phenomenal racing that we have here right now, Rick.
It really is. I mean, Nate Seefer is trying to make up for lost time. You know, when he got loose coming off 2, got it completely sideways, and now he has just run his way back up to 5th place and is trying to track down Mike Grandy, who runs in 4th right now. Meanwhile, Chris Simard, let's go to 2nd. Chris Simard, Lyle Swearingen. Wow. They've got a heck of a battle going on for 2nd place right now. Chad Simpson's got the lead, 2.5 seconds in front of this fight, but this is the battle on the racetrack right now, and Simard gets around Swearingen and picks up 2nd place. Chris Simard started way back in 16th place. He's made up 14 spots. He's the biggest mover in the field right now. Kevin O'Brien has made up 10 spots. He runs in 10th, but Chris Simard is just on the move. He's been on the move this entire race, and now he begins to pull away from Swearingen.
Yeah, and Seefer, he gets a little loose again out of turn 2, the same spot that he saw himself the last time. Man, oh man, Rick.
And this time it's going to bring out the yellow.
It's going to bring out the yellow. Well,
and that's going to catch out Butch Davis, who pitted. Davis was the one who pitted, so Davis is a lap down. He's not going to be happy to see this.
Not at one single bit. You know, for Nate Seefer right now, whoo, I can only imagine what his blood pressure is right now.
He just did a Danny Sullivan 1985 at Indianapolis. That was a complete 360-degree spin, and he gathered it up. There it is right there. He was right in front of that beautiful purple and white car. Look at this. Goes completely around. Let's see if Mario Andretti goes to the inside. Yes, he does. It looks identical to the spin and win from 1985. Andretti bayed down to the inside, and he was able to get by. Of course, that wasn't Mario Andretti, but it looked almost identical. And now Seefer's going to come into the pits with a host of other cars.
Yeah, and, you know, it's with all the cautions that we've seen here, I mean, they've all been pretty identical to one another. Let's be completely honest about that. But what we've seen here, Rick, is just this field has been almost completely uncertain as far as who's been out in front, who's been staying out in the front and leading laps the most consistently. I mean, it's just been, we've seen, I can't even keep track of all who we've seen all in the front. I mean, we've seen Lyle Swearingen, we've seen Nate Siefker, we've seen Chad Simpson now who's in the front. Rick, I can't even keep track of all of them. It's just too many to count.
Butch Davis has also led a few laps. We have a timing screen here that shows us just about everything you could possibly want, except for how many laps each car has led. So I don't know.
Fix
exactly
that, SDK, if you're listening.
Yeah,
anyway.
Right. But Chad Simpson, he's got some fans out there. He's got a fan club, believe it or not. I don't know what it is. ChadSimpson.com. I have no idea. I'm going to have to get him to tell me that so I can, give him a plug during the race. But Chad is going to pick up the lead. I'm looking who's in front of him. Yari Brubpatcher is the only car between Chad and the pace car. Brubpatcher running in 12th place. Brubpatcher, let's see, his last pit stop was just 4 laps ago, but the way it all cycled through, Brubpatcher gets caught behind the pace car, so he's going to be allowed to come around when they get the 1 lap to go before the green comes out signal. And so Brubpatcher is going to come around and line up behind with the rest of the lead lap cars. But let's take a look. Nate Siefker runs in 10th place. These are your points leaders. Butch Davis runs in 11th. Now he's back on the lead lap. And they've got a lot of cars in front of them. 9th place, Kevin O'Brien. 8th, Jeff Hollingsworth. 7th, Jake Walsh, Dan Bracington, Glazer, Grandy, Samard Swearingen, and Chad Simpson. They all run in front of the 2 points leaders. And it looks like Butch Davis is dropping back. He just gave up. Wait, what happened here? Because Jeffrey Rowlett just came around. He's running in 13th. Okay, I don't know what happened there. And Nate Siefker, by the way, is coming back into the pits. So we have a little strategy. He was in the pits 1 lap ago. Does he think that maybe he could stretch it from here? Could that be the play by Siefker?
Quite possibly, Rick. And, doing the math here just a little bit, it looks like we are expecting at least 1 more pit stop, but I almost think there might be even enough time for a second one here before the end of the race. So Nate Siefker might be getting on that game just a little bit early here, I think.
I don't know. It looks like, well, we've got Chad Simpson now in the lead. Lyle Swearingen, who's been running the top side just about this entire race, he's running in 2nd place. So Swearingen, I don't know. This is going to be interesting to see. These guys, everybody here in the top, it looks like top 8, pitted under this yellow flag. Butch Davis, well, 8 laps on his. I'm trying to figure this out. The green flag comes out. By the way, Chad Simpson is going to try to pull away from Lyle Swearingen. But Swearingen, can he run Simpson down? I said this would be a good race to have a first-time winner this season. And right now, literally, let's see, Swearingen. Okay, who won at Iowa? Swearingen got real wide coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, Swearingen here really trying to put the moose here. Well, looked like he was trying to. But Chris Samard, though, as well, trying to do all that he can to push his way back up into the 3rd. I mean, these 2 drivers have been swapping back and forth here for this 2nd place spot, lap after lap, for quite some time now. But Swearingen really been able to keep on top of this and able to retain this 2nd place spot, even though we've seen Chris Samard able to get around that 68 machine a few times. But Swearingen, he's got something working for him up here on the top line, Rick. And I think you said it yourself at the beginning of the broadcast. I'm
sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Swearingen got real loose. I mean, he went left. He did a couple of tank slappers coming off turn 4.
Oh, geez. And I seem to do that a lot at the most inopportune times. But anyhow, it's really interesting to see how well Swearingen is doing here. Lap 121 to 175 as we come across the line here. It's been absolutely incredible racing. But, man, it's really unfortunate to see a lot of the drivers here that have been doing, I don't want to say a lot of the drivers, but some of the drivers that we've seen doing extremely well here is we see Butch Davis, Jake Walsh go side by side here for 7th place. Butch Davis going to drop back behind that number 33 machine going into turn 1 here once again. He's staying up on the top line here as we continue on. But, you know what? I already lost my point here, Rick.
Oh, that's okay. I do that quite frequently. It's just proving that you're a human being. Meanwhile, it looks like Butch Davis is going to make the move on Walsh going into turn 1. He should clear him going in, and he does. And now Butch Davis runs it. That's a nice little slide job there by Davis.
That was beautiful.
He runs up top, coming off the corner. Almost hit the wall coming off turn 2. So Davis is pushing it a little bit. And Chad Simpson still leading, but Swearingen has not let him go anywhere. Swearingen has behind him Chris Samard, and behind Chris is Mike Grandy. So the top 4 are running right together. And now Grandy takes a look to the inside. Can't get it done. Chris Samard. Car number 77, the Pennzoil Cat Machine, is looking good.
I love that, Rick. I love that. I'm not going to be able to unsee that now. But this battle up here, the leaders here in the top 4 right now, you see Swearingen. Oh, Chris Samard, a little bit of a moment there. Gets very, very close to the top wall here as we make our way into turn 3. That was almost very, very close there for Chris Samard, as they're now going to be side by side here. Mike Grandy, Chris Samard going into turn 1 here. Let's see who comes out on top here for third place. Mike Grandy with a lot of speed there down on the bottom.
Got him.
Yeah, there it is.
Grandy's got him. And Swearingen keeps running the way he's been running. I don't know what he's done with his adjustments in the car, but he has really been cutting it close coming off of these corners. He may have made adjustments to compensate for that loose condition coming off the corners at this point. I would hope so, because if he continues on this, sooner or later, it's going to get sideways to the point where he's not going to be able to catch it.
Yeah, you know, and I don't think that's what any of these drivers want to see here tonight. And I hope that a lot of them are expecting that, at least, you know, expecting that kind of issue to arise at some point or another as we progress on through this race. And as we come across the line, it's lap 128 of 175. And what I'm starting to wonder here, Rick, is, you know, all of our drivers came in lap 113. So I think I was correct with my initial assumption, is that we're going to have one final pit stop, and that's going to be all. But what's interesting here, we're looking at Nate Siefker going side by side, wheel to wheel with Jake Walsh, or excuse me, Yari Brupatcher in the 89 machine for 10th place currently. What I'm really curious to see here, Rick, is if Nate Siefker is going to be able to capitalize on coming into the pits a little bit later than everyone else here. Believe his, yeah,
it's only one lap.
Yeah, so I guess not too much, but
would it make the difference though?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what Nate Siefker has in mind at this point, but he's all the way down into 10th place and frankly has a huge field to work through. I mean, Lyle Swearingen, yeah, Chad Simpson, Mike Grandy, Chris Samard, Bentley Glazer, Dan Brazington, Butch Davis. I could go on, but the point being, it's going to be a heck of a race here all the way until the checkered flag flies. As Swearingen, look at this, he's out here leading the field. Wow, the 68 machine, after a little bit of setback, he's up here back in the front leading this race after getting around Chad Simpson. And Chad Simpson, yeah, doing very well here on that outside line. He's stayed very consistent there as well, Rick, as we work our way through a bit of lap traffic, going down just a little bit through the middle there. But
Jose Phillips!
Oh, no!
And he's going to collect Mike Grandy just behind him. Watch behind them to see if anybody else gets involved.
Oh, no.
And Jake Walsh also runs into him. Oh. Walsh is going to have problems. Mike Grandy was involved. Kevin O'Brien comes around. The pace car comes out once again. Lyle Swearingen has the lead. We're on lap 133, and it's going to be close. If they pit right now, they could probably make it to the end of the race with one more yellow flag.
Man, oh man, let's take a look at our replay here and see exactly what happened here for Jake Walsh in the number 33 machine. Yep, just clips that 48 of Jose Phillips. Let's back this up here and take a look at Mike Grandy here. Oh, we're going to have to go back a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody lost it at first. Skip ahead of those two cars. Oh, yes, it was Jose Phillips. who caught the wall coming off of turn 2. That's what happened.
That is going to be rough indeed. So our field going to be coming down here into the pits. And, man, that's going to put Lyle Swearingen, Chad Simpson, Chris Simard in the top 3 currently as our field makes their way in and out of the pits.
I'm going to go down and see if I can get Paul Crumry, incidentally.
This is absolutely wild here that we're seeing here, folks, as Rick is going to make his way down into the pits and see if we can get a driver up here for an interview. Meanwhile, back out on track, Lyle Swearingen, Chad Simpson, and looks like Chris Simard all going to be stacked back up here behind the pace car and getting themselves ready to go here for this next restart. Folks, 7 cautions that we've seen here tonight, and at least 6 of them all pretty similar to one another here, all leading up to what we're seeing on our screens currently, which is just uncertainty is the best way to describe it up here in the broadcast booth as far as who is really the driver to look out for. And right now, looks like Lyle Swearingen, as things are looking pretty calm here. Well, I say calm, but point being, it looks like Lyle Swearingen, if he's able to keep things going the way he's been, he should be able to take a podium tonight. But as I just mentioned, a lot of our field just came down into the pits, lap 133 here. Swearingen, Simpson, and Simard, all 3 of these drivers up here in the top 3 came in lap 113. So they're going to be staying out just a little bit longer here. And it looks like Rick does not look like we were able to get our driver up here for an interview, eh?
No, I don't understand. This is the second time tonight I tried to get Tim Bates. He was down there and called out his name several times, and he didn't respond. Same thing with Paul Crumry. He's in the waiting to be interviewed or ready to be interviewed Discord room. Called out his name several times. If they're ready to be interviewed, they've got to stay by their computer. Otherwise, don't be in that room. But we're trying to get these interviews, but it's just not happening. Now, back to Lyle Swearingen, who's running right out in front. Him and Chad Simpson and Chris Simard are the only cars who didn't pit. I don't understand why they didn't pit, because had they pitted, it's 40 laps to the checkered flag, so theoretically they could make it to the end of the race. Why you would stay out there on with 22 lap old tires, and I just don't understand it. But maybe they know something that I don't. So sometimes there's a trick up somebody's sleeve that I just can't figure out, and they just blow me away with it. But those top 3, Swearingen, Simpson, and Simard, they stayed out. Meanwhile, Bentley Glazer, Dan Bracington, Davis, Siefker, Hollingsworth, Brupatcher, O'Brien, Grandy, Rowlett, and Jake Walsh, they all pitted. So they should be able to make it to the end of this race. Now, Lyle Swearingen is going to see the green flag once again, and here we go. It's going to get kind of crazy now because we're coming down to it. We've only got 40 laps now, 39 laps to go. Swearingen picks up where he left off, running that high line, and Chad Simpson, who lost the lead to Swearingen, who's got some kind of crazy speed here today, he's running in second place, and Chris Simard runs in third place. Meanwhile, we look back now, we're looking at Butch Davis and Nate Siefker, the 2 points leaders. They're running very close together as Butch Davis behind his teammate, Dan Bracington. Davis comes to the inside. Oh, he's so close. He almost touches Bracington. Boy, that was a close one, and that might open the door for Siefker to get to the inside of Davis.
Yeah, Siefker here, he's just seeing a door open up for him here as he goes down on the inside of the 43 machine of Butch Davis down the front straight. It's not quite going to be enough this time around as he shuffles back behind that 43 machine here once again, and there he goes. He hit almost inches to the rear end of Butch Davis here as we go back down the back straight here. And, a lot of these drivers here looking fairly calm here on this last restart that we just had, and looking right now at the field and how spread out that everyone is, at least up here in kind of the top 10, it's really, really surprising the difference in pace that a lot of these drivers are seeing right now, especially for Lyle Swearingen, Chad Simpson, who are both just absolutely just pushing the gas pedal all the way down through the floor as Chad Simpson tries to work his way down on the inside of Lyle Swearingen down the back straight here. Rick, this is just incredible what we are seeing here.
I'm trying to figure out. Oh, and Swearingen taps the wall. He taps the wall going through turn 3. That opens the door for Simpson. Is Simpson going to be able to make it work? He's been running that low line. Is he going to throw it down there and hope it sticks? Simpson, no, not quite. It looks like Swearingen has gathered himself back, and he's back running and in his groove, but he's been running so close to the wall. It looks like he just darted up and kissed the wall, and again, just coming off of turn 4, it was about 2 inches away from the wall. He's really running an absolutely perilous line around this racetrack.
Yeah, and it seems like as the race goes on, that line, the grip there is just starting to deteriorate. I mean, as the track temperature starts to rise and your tire temperatures start to rise as well, I mean, it just starts to feel like you're on glass at that point. So
sixth place, Siefker and Davis.
Siefker and Davis, side by side, cross the checkered line into turn 1. Sorry, go ahead.
If Siefker can't win this race, he wants to beat Butch Davis, because that's your points leader. That's the battle for the championship right there. And so at the very least, Nate would want to keep Butch behind him, because if Butch finishes in front of him, obviously he gains a little more. He cut his points lead last race in half. He's only down by, I think, 22 points. So Nate Siefker does not want this trend to continue. Butch has been on somewhat of a roll. He's got momentum on his side right now. So this is going to be a fun one to watch. And just behind them is the always dangerous Jeff Hollingsworth, always fast and always smooth. So this is a great battle to watch right here as we watch Nate Siefker trying to finish in front of Butch Davis.
Trying to do everything that he possibly can here. He's going low, he's going high, he's trying every single part of this track that he can think of to utilize to keep up with the pace of Butch Davis at this point in time. And let's take a look up in the front with our leader, Lyle Swearingen, Chad Simpson, both duking it out here. Simpson has taken advantage of that misfortune that Swearingen had just a few laps ago, having came into the wall there into turn 3, and he's right on the tail here of Swearingen, and he's trying to find a line here as he comes down on the inside. Across the checkered line we go into turn 1. Is it going to be enough as they're wheel to wheel into turn 1? Simpson not quite going to be able to keep the same pace. Swearingen, he's got something working for him here tonight, Rick. That high line, it seems like, once someone else comes down on the inside of him right here, Chad Simpson's a perfect example of this. It almost seems like that low line has it, but as soon as Swearingen's out on that straight, it's over. It's incredible to see how consistent that Lyle has been here to maintain this lead. But look at how close we are down the back straight going into turn 3. Simpson trying to keep up with the pace here of the 68 of Swearingen. Is it going to be enough as we come out of 4? Down the front straight, it's not. Wow.
It's going to be the same story, the same old story. I don't understand. They're on 36 laps now, working on lap 37 on those tires. I don't understand the strategy here, why they stayed out. But Chad Simpson and Butch Davis, obviously, they're on the same team, FBR Motorsports. Perhaps they split the strategies, because these guys, the leaders, are going to have to come into the pits. They can't make it. Now, theoretically, Butch Davis, Nate Siefker, they can make it to the end of the race. Let's see, the guy who might be in the catbird seat right now is 4th place. Wait, I'm listening. Mike Grandy just keyed up. Mike Grandy may have glazed the wall, but Bentley Glazer running in 4th place right now. He might be in the catbird seat. He's running, let's see, Chris Samar. Now, he's got a pit. So Glazer is the first car amongst those who pitted who could possibly make it to the end of the race without stopping. So Glazer could pull this one off, actually.
Yeah, and as Glazer is working his way up into 3rd place, or at least trying to, he's on the tail end. The 77 of Chris Samard holding on to 3rd place in that Pennzoil paint scheme 77 machine. Glazer trying to do everything that he can. He looked like he had a good run there just a moment ago, but had to back off there as we work our way into turn 1 here once again and out onto the back straight. Look at this great shot here of our field. And given 23 laps left to go, this is still fairly close. I mean, this is anyone's race at this point. I definitely don't think that anyone exactly has this in the bag. As Rick, it took a moment to drop down into pit road here and find one of our drivers to interview. Rick, what do you got for us?
I'm sitting here with Jake Walsh. Jake, you had a pretty decent run going, and then all of a sudden, tell us what happened.
Yeah, I was exiting 2 and I saw the smoke. So I got on the brakes like normal. And then I saw a gap open where Jose was. And then he moved. And I clobbered the side of him. I was not expecting him to move, but if I had moved down to the left, I would have hit Nate. And that's the last thing that I would have wanted to do. And yeah, it was just an unfortunate situation, but not much I could have avoided.
Well, it's a shame to hear that, but next up we've got the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. How do you feel about that track? How's your road racing skills?
I'm a lot more excited about the road racing, and because I'm a lot more comfortable with doing that, and I have a lot more pace. But obviously with road racing, there's a lot more opportunities for error, which that's not always a good thing. So hopefully we can have a pretty good finish there, but just gonna focus on next week for sure.
All right, Jake. Well, thanks for joining us, and we wish you better luck next week at Indianapolis, the road course.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, Mason, let's go back up to you in the booth. I'm going to run up there real quick.
All right, absolutely. As Rick takes his daily exercise up the stairs to the broadcast booth. Only kidding. We're currently looking at Chris Simard in the 77 machine. Now, we've already talked about this a few times, is that our top 3 still going to have to come down in the pits here before we see the checkered flag fly, as Bentley Glazer, Butch Davis, both going to be on the tail end of the 77 machine. Bentley Glazer here trying to find a line to make it around the 77 machine as we make our way into turn 1 here once again. Butch Davis, Nate Siefker going to be trailing just behind them. Siefker and Davis going to be side by side there for just a moment, but they're going to go back single file here down the back straight. 16 laps left to go here, Rick. I mean, this is about as close as we can possibly get it here. I mean, I can't think of any other scenario where we would have battles this close in the lead this late in the race.
Yeah, 15 laps to go, and Chad Simpson, by the way, has picked up the lead. He's got a 1.5 second lead over Lyle Swearingen. Makes me wonder, has Lyle dialed back the fuel, because he just started dropping like a stone. He might be hoping for a yellow flag. I said it before, FBR obviously splitting the strategy here, leaving Simpson out on the racetrack while Butch Davis came into the pits. Again, the guy who could be in the catbird seat is Bentley Glazer, because he's the first car of those who pitted under that last caution who is, who could make it to the end. So Butch Davis is trying to run him down. Can he make it to the end? It's going to be close, but Simpson, Swearingen, and Simard are all going to have to pit. If this goes green the rest of the way, we're looking at car number 4 right now. That right there is your net leader as he's chasing down Chris Simard. But Simard, again, has to pit, so it really doesn't make much sense to try to get around him. But he's got Butch Davis and Nate Siefker breathing down his neck right now. That could be your top 3 fighting out for the win once the top 3, the current top 3, make their final stop.
You know, and Rick, you mentioned that Bentley here probably really shouldn't be trying to make this pass here for third place, but we're seeing right now,
he's going to lose it to Butch.
Exactly.
Butch comes around the outside, and now Butch Davis is our net leader.
Yeah, there it is. And the pass is made. The 43 machine now into first place, net first at least. And Siefker now going to be looking to do the same exact thing here. Down on the inside of the number 4 machine here, down the back straight into turn 3. Siefker looks like he might, he's going to be able to make it this time around here down the front straight, going into turn 1. And that's going to put Siefker net second place once our leaders make it down into the pits. And there you see Lyle Swearingen in third place. Look at this. Look at this traffic here. And I say traffic, but I mean, these guys are still on the lead. And wow, that was pretty close. Who was that there?
That was Bentley Glazer, the purple and white car?
No, the green and white car that washed up to the high side of the track there. It almost made contact with a few drivers, it looked
I
like.
was looking at something else. I didn't see that.
You're all right, Rick. It's A-okay, but I mean, this is I'm just astonished here at the fact that right now we have a battle here for the lead basically all the way to P7. Isn't that just incredible? I mean, with the exception of Chad Simpson, he's nearly 2.25 seconds away.
Seifker's going to come around Davis. Seifker is going to come around, and if he gets by, he's going to be in the lead when the leaders pit. They're still side by side. Butch Davis and Nate Seifker, the points leaders, they both realize that once the leaders pit, this is going to be the battle for the lead. Seifker now picks it up, and he's also going to come around and pick up the spot from Chris Simard. So Nate Seifker, after all he's been through, could this be a spin and win for him? Butch Davis is going to have to do something about that. Now, do they have to stop? Are they running full bore right now? I don't know, but again, theoretically, they should be able to make it with maybe a little bit of conserving. I don't know what's going to happen here. This race is far from over.
This is fun, Rick. I'm loving what we're seeing on our screens right now. And you know what's even more fascinating, Rick? 6 laps left to go, and these drivers still haven't come down into the pits. Simpson, Simard, as well as where's the other driver? He went somewhere. Actually, I don't see him on screen anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, anyhow,
Chad Simpson is a sitting duck, Mason. He's a sitting duck, and he's losing time to Nate Seifker right now. Simpson has been out there for 57 laps. So has Chris Simard. They are trying to stretch it. I don't know if they can make it. They could be hoping for a yellow flag. If the yellow flag comes out, we're on lap 172 now. If the yellow flag comes out, Chad Simpson will win this race. But if the green stays out, will he make it to the end? Nate Seifker continues to reel in Chad Simpson, but Simpson might be able to pull this one off. Does he need a yellow to get to the end, though? That's the question.
man, Rick, you know, with 3 laps left to go, that question is, I think, on everyone's mind here at this point. This is probably the closest battle that we've had for practically the top 5, we'll call it at this point in time, that we've had, I think, all season. This is just absolutely phenomenal. And like you said, Chad's... Oh! Bentley Glazer there almost makes a little bit of contact. I'm not exactly sure. 2 laps left to go. Chad Simpson just over a second of a gap between himself and Nate Seifker. Ah, man, Simpson seems like he's got it, Rick. He just has to have 2 more clean laps. As we cross the line, the final lap is here. The white flag is out, and we are going to see who is going to take home the win. And Chad Simpson is going to really set the example here for being out on the with the most fuel here, with the least amount of fuel here. As we come out of turn 4, down the front straight and across the checkered line, it's Simpson for the win for the Lobster Tails, 175. Seifker going to take home second place here, with Davis taken third in the 43 machine. Bentley Glazer in 4th. Jeff Hollingsworth in 5th place. Rick, Chad Simpson, his last time was in the pits was lap 113. He exceeded our fuel stint window by, I don't even know how much. This was just absolutely phenomenal.
61 laps.
61 laps.
61
that is
laps.
incredible. And he's got enough fuel in the tank to burn it down on the front straight. That is incredible.
I can't wait. He was just doing his donuts, and he hit the wall.
Well, either way,
he's still burning them down, so he has even more fuel. You know, in our pre-race notes, we are told that the fuel window is 38 to 42 laps. Chad Simpson just made that calculation look absolutely silly. He just ran 61 laps, and it looks like, let's see, Lyle Swearingen and Chris Simard ran 60 laps. Did they come into the pits? They ended up 1 lap down, so they didn't quite make it. Swearingen and Simard didn't make it. Simpson, oh my goodness. I mean, everybody just got schooled by Simpson.
Yeah, this was just... I don't think either one of us expected it here in the booth. Simpson just... he had something in mind that I don't think anyone else was really anticipating here for this race. But we're going to go through our end race results here. Chad Simpson, obviously the 42 machine, taking home the win here tonight. Nate Siefker in the number 2 machine coming home with second place. Butch Davis in third in the 43 machine, with Bentley Glazer in fourth place. Jeff Hollingsworth in fifth. Yari Brupatcher going to be taking sixth place. Dan Brazington in seventh. Kevin O'Brien in 8th, Lyle Swearingen in 9th place, Chris Simard in 10th, Mike Grandy Sr. in 11th, Jeffrey Rowlett in 12th place, Jake Walsh in 13th, Mark McFadden in 14th, Ernie Ludwig in 15th, Shane Loveridge in 16th, Paul Crumry in 17th, Ryan Cruz in 18th, Jack Turner in 19th, Timmy Bates in 20th, Jose Phillips in 21st, William Fletcher in 22nd, and Carl Burke 23rd. The last 2 drivers not participating in the race here tonight. And Rick, you better cut it out with that yawning.
Oh, you heard that? Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, it's a little late here out here on the East Coast for me. I usually get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But quickly, let's go down to Chad Simpson before the excitement dies down. Chad, you absolutely pulled this one out of you-know-where. How in the world were you able to conserve fuel and get 61 laps out of that tank?
Oh, it's great to finally not finish a race in second. I knew what that strategy was when I made that last stop. I had been getting better fuel numbers than all my teammates had this whole day. So I told them, this is my last stop. I'm hypermiling this thing. And that 5 lift the coast, make it work.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, were you kicking in the clutch going into the corners? How in the world did you stretch it that far? What's the secret?
Nope, I was just looking at the 2 marker going into the corners. And easy on.
Well, that's just fantastic. I mean, nobody thought you could do it. Chris Simard and Swearingen, they got to pretty close, but I guess at the point when you finally were able to get around Swearingen to pick up the lead, did you know that you had it at that point?
As long as we stayed green, yeah. If there's a yellow, you never know what can happen. I was not stopping if there was a yellow, so people on new tires could have given me a run there, but I finally felt good when we took that 3 to go, and I knew a yellow wasn't going to screw me over.
It's still, I'm in awe of this performance. I mean, it's been a long time coming. You've been so close, so many races, but finally picking up the win. Butch Davis now comes down to congratulate Chad Simpson, his FBR teammate, who finished in 3rd place. As a big hug from him, said, great job. Butch, let me get you here for a second. Butch, you're coming home finishing 3rd. Nate Siefker was able to pick up 2nd place, the net 2nd. We knew that the leaders, everybody but Chad was going to have to come into the pits apparently, but we figured that was the race for the lead. So you were battling Nate for the lead, what we assumed would have been the lead. How hard were you fighting for that?
Honestly, I was just trying to hang on. I'm going to keep my part tonight kind of short. I have a bit of a medical emergency here, so I'm going to be heading into the hospital.
Who's going in the hospital?
Me. Yeah, it was a tough race. I had the sound issue yet again. So once again, give up like a top 5 position or whatever. I have to go to the back of the field and, work through and, all that mess. Got off sequence with the fuel. Just had to try to do something different to get get that position back, and caught me out with the yellow flag, which always happens. Thanks, Nate, for that one. Jokingly, of course. But yeah, it was just a struggle tonight. I basically, right now, I have what's called Bell's palsy. The right side of my face is numb. I drove the majority of the race with one eye shut. And it's just not cool. So I'm going to cut my part short. Congrats to Chad. Congrats to Nate. Great race tonight. Great race tonight, guys. Thank everybody out there for hanging with us. And, these short tracks can be tough, but we got to get them done.
Well, you did a great job. You only lost a couple of points to Nate here. We're going to let you go, and you're in our thoughts and prayers, Butch. Great job tonight. We'll see you next week at Indianapolis Road Course.
Thank you, gentlemen. See you next week, I hope.
Okay. Butch Davis, medical emergency. We'd never like to hear something like that. That's something that you might hear, of course, in the real world, where injuries are kind of prevalent when you do hit the wall or something like that, but you don't really hear that much in sim racing because obviously it's a safe sport. I mean, you hit the wall and there's no risk of injury. But let's get Nate Siefker out here real quick. Nate just came into Victory Circle to also offer congratulations to Chad Simpson. Nate, you really had your work cut out for you. You made a couple of pretty bad mistakes, and you were still able to work your way back up to second place. First of all, tell us about you getting sideways, and then tell us about the 360 that you did.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think the thermal deg caught me out there with the first one. I wasn't really necessarily pushing super hard, but it snapped, and when it snapped good. Pretty hard. There was a significant save. It wasn't easy to get that car back riled up. Let's see, it would have been roughly, the wheel did almost a full 360 rotation to save that one. And then the other one, dealing with the traffic, eventually I just hit a bump really weird. Looking at the replay, it just looks like there's a weird bump, and two, if you hit it literally I hit it at the same time, the same line, with the save and the spin, just hit it right, and
hit it wrong.
Yeah, I hit it wrong, exactly. And it did a 360. Thanks to Bentley for keeping it off of me. That was an incredible job by him to prevent us from really making the night way worse than what it was.
Well, it was definitely a stroke of luck, Nate. When you spun coming off turn 2, you did a complete 360, but really there was nobody close enough to you that could have collected you. So fortunately, you had enough distance on the next car behind you. You were able to complete that spin and get underway before they got around you.
Bentley was right on my left rear. He's hit the brakes pretty hard to keep off of me. So kudos to Bentley, and then kudos to the other three. I don't even know who the other three were that flew by on the top to get up to the top and not hit me. So thank you to those guys. But yeah, I think the recovery tonight was the best we could do without Chad running out. Once we got the 5 to go, I saw the gap was coming down. Getting through that traffic there at the last 20 laps, that was a struggle. We had to get by Lyle, Chris, Butch, and somebody else. I don't even know who else. Well, Bentley, I think is what it was. So getting by those 4 guys, especially with how difficult it is to pass, we'll take it tonight. We reduce the damage possible. Hopefully Butch is back next week so we can, hopefully win this championship with a fairway.
Yeah, well, thank you for correcting me. It was actually, I believe it was when you got sideways, when you were pretty much in the clear from everybody. The spin, the complete 360 is when the car was on your inside and ducked down to the inside. It looked like Danny Sullivan and Mario Andretti all over again. But as Andretti went to the inside of Sullivan, I actually called that during the race. But yeah, thanks for the correction on that. Before we let you go, and you're looking forward to, of course, well, it could be another dominating win. We're coming up on a road course. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the road course next week, and I guess, should I say it now? Congratulations on your win at Indy next week.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. We'll find out. I think Indy is a kind of a good track for me, but yet it's a pretty popular track for most cars in the Indy cars. So I think there will be a lot of good guys out there. Hopefully Butch is out there. I think Chris has got some pace there as well, and a couple others. So we'll see. I think hopefully we can mix up the strategy. The Reds might be quicker, but short-lived. So we'll see. Curious to see how it pans out when we go there next week.
Well, word has it, I got the inside word, and I'm going to tell everybody right now that's watching. There's a man who was my teammate this season, but then he had trouble with his work schedule and couldn't make the races. David Cook might be able to make the race next week. If David Cook makes it, you might have a struggle on your hands. It might not be so easy next week. What do you think about that?
I welcome the competition, but I hope he welcomes the second place.
Well, we look forward to that battle if it does come to fruition. Hopefully, Mr. Cook can make it, so somebody can give you a challenge out there on the road course. But congratulations on a great recovery, second place. Now it's time for your thank yous and shout outs, my friend.
Thank you guys in the booth. I'll watch this back, but I'm sure, yeah, my two incidents will get called pretty incredibly. It'll be painful to watch that back, I'm sure. I want to thank all the drivers out there, and thank all the admin staff as well. And then thank also my partner, Mendo's Kidney Warriors, for being on the car. We're going to do paint on for the month of May here soon. So hopefully it looks pretty good when we're on track, and we'll see what we can do with it.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Nate. It was a lot of fun watching you out there. You led laps. You got sideways. You spun around once. You still come out in second place. You are definitely the magic man, and we wish you the best next week.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Nate Siefker, car number 2, coming home in second place. We'll go back to Chad Simpson to wrap up these interviews. Man of a few words, a man of definitely an even keel emotion. I mean, he gives interviews exactly the way he races, smooth and steady with no emotion whatsoever. Chad, once again, great job tonight. You really pulled one over on everybody. Nobody thought that any of the top 3 would make it to the end. You're the one that was able to do it. Great job. And now it's time. Oh, well, first let's talk about the point standings. Obviously, you were in third place. You're a little bit behind your teammate, Butch Davis. I'm going to check really quick and see if the points have been updated. Meanwhile, maybe Mason has something to say to you. I do want to point out I do want to go over the points with you if they've been updated. But meanwhile, Mason, why don't you have a little chat with him?
Chad, sir, you've had a pretty solid season here throughout the 2022 season of the SRE Alpha Series. Now, given that we're going into kind of the final few races of the season, next week we're taking it to Indy for the road course, and then the oval just after that for the Indy 500. Now, how are you feeling about that going into Indianapolis kind of for back-to-back races?
Well, Nate's gonna win the Indy GP. We know that. So we're gonna hopefully gain some points at the Indy 500 since he's not racing. It would be great to win that for a second time, and then we have Texas. Anything can happen in Texas. You don't know. I mean, we need some bad luck for Nate to have a shot, and the golden horseshoe is still with him. Having a slide and a spin and still finishing second. So it's going to be tough.
Well, I'm looking at the points now. They have not been updated. As of the last race, you were 10 points behind your teammate, Butch Davis, and 32 behind Nate Siefker. Now you win the race, so you're gonna gain on both Butch and Nate. So as far as the championship is concerned, I know that you're going all out. I mean, you still want to win the championship. You've proven that by not giving your own teammate a break when you easily could have done that. How hard are you going to push in these last few races to get that 2 in a row?
We'll see. I'm going for wins. I know I'm not winning the GP, but I know I've already got one Indy 500 win here, so we're going for a second Indy 500, and I really wish that was a double points. I'm sure you don't like double points. I kind of wish that was a double points race for me.
That definitely would play out to your advantage and Butch, since Nate's not going to be there, which is just incredible. He's so close to getting another championship under his belt, but we wish you all the best next week at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. And why don't you take this time now to say what you want to say to whoever you want to say it to.
Thanks to our guys at Satellite Racing, at PR Motorsports, Moradness, Ellis Engineering, EastNC.com. Butch, hopefully he's doing good. He told me whenever we got in the server that he had some Bell's ballsy things going on, and I was like, so you're telling me I'm going to lose to a guy that's half paralyzed? And I didn't. So hopefully Butch is good. Thanks to you guys for putting on the race. The admins did a good job today. And the fan club, we finally got a win.
Yes, you certainly did. And maybe you can make it 2 in a row there if Nate has computer problems next week.
Oh, that'd be the dream.
All right, well, congratulations again, Chad, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Chad Simpson, that's your winner. Mason, I'll tell you what, this was definitely something that I mean, there was a little bit of something for everybody there tonight. There was great racing. There were some yellow flags. There was, people losing it on not the warm up lane, the inside line. There was fuel strategy. There was just a little bit of everything out there tonight.
Yeah, and all of the cautions that we've seen come out tonight, I almost want to say, Rick, that they came out at probably very opportune times, I would say, for the field. I mean, maybe not so much for some of the drivers that were kind of planning for some success here tonight, but either way, either how, Rick, I mean, coming into tonight here at New Hampshire, I was expecting a good race, and I certainly got it up here in the booth. I hope everyone watching at home, enjoying the action, is also enjoying what they have seen here for the showing of the Lobster Tails 175 here at New Hampshire for the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series. Rick, I look forward to next week at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the road course, and hope to see some similar action there.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that, except, well, Nate's probably going to run away with it, but it's going to be a good battle for second place, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very close battle, I think, for the championship towards the end. If Butch Davis is able to keep himself up there with Nate Siefker or beyond that, as far as placing himself up here in the top 3, taking home podiums like he's been doing.
Yeah.
But Nate Siefker still, I mean, he's able to come out and put himself right at the very tippy top here in second place, just in front of Butch Davis. So he's going to give himself a little bit of a cushion between Butch Davis. But Rick, I still think that the 43 machine definitely still has what it takes to be able to come away with a championship before the end of the season.
Well, he definitely wants it, and he wants it pretty bad. Obviously, he raced tonight under difficult circumstances. Let's hope that he's okay. I mentioned earlier, David Cook might come join us for that race next week. And from what I've seen in practice and racing, and I've raced with this guy, and I know him, he's the one who could give Nate Siefker a run for his money. He might be the one to take that coveted easy victory, so to speak, away from Nate. Let's take a look at your final standings as we wrap things up here from Loudon, New Hampshire. Chad Simpson is going to come away your winner with an absolutely unbelievable fuel economy run, 61 laps in that last stint. Just unthinkable. Nate Siefker, your points leader, is going to come away in second. Butch Davis, who runs in second in the points, is third. Bentley Glazer is going to come home in fourth place. Jeff Hollingsworth picks up fifth. Yari Brutpatcher, sixth. Dan Bracington, seventh. Kevin O'Brien will come home in eighth. Lyle Swearingen did a fantastic job, but had to pit late along with Chris Samard. They're going to finish ninth and 10th. Running down through the rest of the field, it's Mike Grandy, Jeff Rowlett, Jake Walsh, Jose Phillips, Mark McFadden, Ernie Ludwig, Shane Loveridge, Paul Crumry, who we tried to get an interview with, but he wasn't available apparently. Ryan Cruz, Jack Turner, Tim Bates, another guy we tried to get an interview with, and he did not answer. Maybe next week. He's going to finish 21st, and then two drivers who did not participate, but they were in the practice session, William Fletcher and Carl Burke. I was especially looking forward to seeing Carl race. There's another guy who's very, very competitive and would also have been a great interview had his race ended early. So we've enjoyed this wonderful day here at New Hampshire. We hope that you've enjoyed this great race from the guys at SRE. This has been the Lobster Tails 175. We hope that you'll join us next week as we head to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the road course, for the running of that great race. For Mason Heimball, I'm Rick Ravon saying thanks so much for joining us. So long from New Hampshire.